Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your November bonus reading. We're going to jump right in here. You have this round around card and this leg up card. I feel pretty good about this round around card. I feel actually, that card can represent repeating a cycle or something kind of like repeating in your life. But I kind of feel like like a cycle is ending differently for you or something. With this card. I feel like there are many cycles that Pisces has repeated in their lives. And, it's like you're ending things differently this time is kind of the message I'm getting. And that leg up card is one of my favorite cards in that deck. It definitely represents like an improvement, being lifted up, getting support or feeling supported, feeling like the universe is supporting you, all that other good stuff. So I really do like to see that, and I forgot your last two cards. Sure, we'll take three. Why not? We're doing a Celtic cross, obviously, and for how you are entering into the reading, you have the Two of Swords. Not sure what to do. Basically, I definitely feel this for Pisces on a very deep level, especially at this time. So you might have a lot of questions about like where you're going, what you're doing, what you want your life to look like, all that other stuff. Again, I think you're trying to make decisions. Part of me, I always say with the Two of Swords, she thinks that her life is going to go like this way or this way, but really it's going to go this way over here on this island. So, she's like trying to predict her future. She might be trying to predict how things are going to go in her life, but really, we have no clue. Even the things that we know about sometimes don't go how we think, right? I think Pisces definitely is one of the signs where it's like you can just know that something is going to happen in your life, but even in the knowing, there is unknown, right? And I feel like the Two of Swords is kind of like encouraging you to do that. It is to like get comfortable with the unknown. That might be what's kind of like holding you back. I think I said this in your November monthly reading, just the regular one, that it's like you do know what to do, Pisces, even if you're saying you don't. It's like I think that you might be saying like, oh, I don't know what to do with my life, or I don't know how to, end this cycle with this round and round card. It's like you're, I kind of feel like Pisces is trying to make something click. It's like you're waiting. I think a click is a form of confirmation for Pisces. Like one, I think there are many for Pisces, but it's like you just know that something is going to work. You just know. And I think that's a hard thing to describe to someone who isn't a Pisces, but that feeling has been missing for a very long time. Neptune and Pisces. You might be thinking Neptune's the ruler of Pisces. It's very intuitive and all this other stuff. It's like that's partially true, but at the same time, Neptune and Pisces wants us to trust ourselves. So the hardest thing for Pisces with Neptune and Pisces is that, maybe we don't get the answers like we normally would. It's like where we come up with an idea and we know, oh, this is going to work. This is going to go this way. This is going to go that way. It's like that's been missing. And I feel like this is saying that you need to get comfortable with that knowing, or not knowing, whatever. You have the Four of Pentacles as your crossing energy. Of course, the Four of Pentacles can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross. I do feel like good, bad about this. Maybe not bad, but, I just feel that, like, in some ways, I feel that you should not be so worried about your finances. Even in your next two Oracle cards, you have this Sudden Wealth card, Pisces, so it's like there's nothing to worry about as far as money is concerned, but the Four of Pentacles is basically saying, what you're holding on to is preventing you from getting something so much better in your life. This always reminds me, and you have that bear. There used to be a meme that was going around. It was like a little girl. She was like holding on to a tiny little teddy bear, and like God or Jesus or someone was standing in front of her, and he had a gigantic ass teddy bear behind his back. And the whole point of the meme was like what you're holding on to is preventing you from something better. Basically, right? I don't really remember what it said, but it was something like that. And that is the Four of Pentacles. It's like you're holding on to something because you think it's bringing you security, but really it's not. Maybe it is, but you could have something so much better. There's like the universe wants you to grow, wants you to expand, and here you are, holding on to something from the past, or I don't even think it has to be the past. It could just be holding on to a comfort zone. So is this really a challenge? I mean, I think it's a tiny little challenge because I feel like you do have like the illusion of security right now, but I also feel intuitively that even in the illusion of security, it's like you see that something is not secure. For a lot of you, I feel this is financial. It's like you know that you have to make bigger moves or do something else or do something new or do something different. I've been saying all year that things have changed. It's time for Pisces to have money and, to show the world how to make money and things like that. And so, it's like time. Next, in the area of what's on your mind, money. You have the Eight of Pentacles. So the Eight of Pentacles is like straightforward, diligent work. And he's focused on doing one thing. Everybody in the month of November has had these cards of kind of really making sure that you're doing one thing at a time, making sure that you are kind of drawing your focus in on accomplishing one thing. But your mind is clearly on money. I also feel you need to be careful of like working too hard. With the Eight of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work. He's not, doing 900 things at once. He's really kind of focused and he's doing things efficiently. And so that could be a big focus for you in your finances with the Eight of Pentacles. I also sometimes feel like, again, he's not like over delivering, which is very Piscean. Pisces does too much. And so anything that you're giving energy to, I feel this is saying just give it enough. Anything you're creating. I have this bad habit as well, Pisces. I come up with ideas and I add a million things to it, right? This is saying like just stick to the original thing, and if you would do that, I think that you would actually get something done this month. And I feel like this reading wants you to get something done basically. You have the King of Pentacles in your foundation. I really like the King of Pentacles in the foundational position in a Celtic cross. He is a foundational card. I do consider him a card of your foundation, and he has a very solid financial foundation. I feel like there's like a lot of potential here. It's like I just feel intuitively that the universe almost wants you to receive an upgrade to your finances, maybe. This seems like a financial reading in some ways. There's some other stuff, but there's a lot of finance going on here. And so it's like the universe wants you to receive this upgrade, but the King of Pentacles also has to not play it safe, He is the card of convention. He just does things the same way he's always done them. And this isn't necessarily a problem, but at the same time, he has to evolve. He has to grow. And I do feel the King of Pentacles is kind of like encouraging you to grow or to do something that will make you grow. Next, in the area of the past, you have this sudden wealth card. It says big financial gain, winnings, monetary gift, financial success, inheritance, inner and outer wealth. Yes. You have this playmate card. It says player, playing games, not serious, informal, recreation, sexual partner, hidden benefits, fun activities. I think you need to play more, really. I've been saying this to you all year. I think you need more enjoyment. We don't really see, again, I don't think this is a love reading or anything. You do, in your last row, you have this imposter card. It says disguise, deception, manipulation. So I would definitely be careful of anyone that you've dealt with or anyone that you could potentially deal with. It might be a good month for you to, protect your energy from these sorts of things, but you do have that sudden wealth card, which is good. You have the Nine of Wands. Even though this is showing up in your past position, I feel like there's something you need to not give up on. Again, the past position in the Celtic cross is normally the energy that you are moving past, obviously. But the Nine of Wands, he's the wounded warrior. He needs to not give up on things that he's working towards or working on. And, he's also my card of experimentation. But he is putting up boundaries. I think that it's like maybe Pisces has a habit of getting successful, and that's like when people show up in your life. It's like it might be a good time to make sure that you're having boundaries, especially with your success. And, it might be a good time to like keep it to yourself is kind of what I'm getting here. Next, in the area of the very near future, you have this Mystic Circle. It says your abilities will be enhanced. Yes, definitely. You have the Stars card. It says a long journey brings rewards. Yes, definitely. I think that, like I said a minute ago, it's like, or, kind of the gist of the reading is like, I feel like there's some sort of cycle that you're ending differently. It's like maybe normally you would work on something and give up. It's like this time you're not going to do it. It's like that's the feeling I get for Pisces. Like this time is actually different. But this is not, I think this is you is what I'm trying to say. Like I don't think this is an external situation. I mean, it could be, but it's coming from you, if that makes sense. Like, this is a project you're working on. This is a change that you're making in your life or, something you're doing for your health. Like, I feel like it comes from you. And it's like this time you're going to end things differently. This time you're going to make the change stick or something. And I feel very good about this, Pisces, so I am happy to see this, but you've definitely earned something. It's like I said, there's like some sort of upgrade that the universe wants you to, or that the universe is saying you've earned this upgrade, but you have to claim it. And, I kind of feel that. You also have the Knight of Swords, which, funny enough, I'll show you on the table. The Knight of Swords is running to the past. So sometimes I feel with the Knight of Swords, he gets to a certain point in the reading, and he's turning around and running away. And I feel part of me is feeling like the Knight of Swords is saying, follow through. It's like, go all the way through something, Pisces, and don't give up. Don't run back to the past. I'm not talking about running back to the past in the sense that you're like going back to a person or something. We're talking about doing what you did last time, right? Whatever the hell that means for you, Pisces. That's what I would avoid with the Knight of Swords. I would also say, like, no jumping to conclusions here, Pisces. And I think it might be a good month for you to work on self-doubt. Especially if you're doubting your ideas or what you're doing or what you want to do. It might be just a good time to work on those, the self-doubt type energy. Next, in your outcome row, you have this Earth card. It says stability, fertility, balance, and nurture. You have this Love card. It says intimacy, unity, fulfillment, and harmony. And you have this Imposter card. It says disguise, deception, and manipulation. I would definitely be careful. You end with the Seven of Swords as well. Of course, we're going to clarify this reading, and we'll see what's going on with that. But I would be careful of anyone who seems like an imposter. The other thing that I'm getting is that we do have Mercury retrograde this month. So there definitely could be love coming in for you, but, it's like it could be one of those things where if you meet a new person, that a past person gets triggered or something like that. So I would definitely be careful of that energy. I also have a weird message here where it's like you need to, it's almost like you need to stick to something that you are saying to yourself. It's like maybe you're saying to yourself, like, in love, fine, I will accept love into my life, but I'm only going to accept a person who is enthusiastic, who is, I can tell, wants to be with me, And I feel that some of you, it's not like you're being tested or anything, but I just feel that maybe over the next few months even, you could be meeting a couple of people, and, it's like maybe some of them are like the past people, not giving you attention, ignoring you, playing games, things like that. And it's like, I feel like those are the people that you need to immediately cut off because, I think Pisces gets into those situations where it's like they're doing all the work. It's like, I think the problem for Pisces is that Pisces likes doing it. But that's not like a healthy thing, Pisces. It's like, I think Pisces likes kind of like being in relationships where maybe they have to like take care of a person that's not taking care of them and things like that. And it's like, that's what needs to change if we're talking about love here. Over the next few months, you have the Ace of Swords. I feel like you're like slaying dragons. You have this dragon card right here with this dragon on it. And you have this Ace of Swords. It's like, I feel like your heads are rolling here, Pisces, over the next few months. I feel like you are kind of maybe, this gives me the, this gives me the pissed off for greatness type energy where you reach a certain point in your life where you're just like, no, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. Didn't I say this in your last reading? I think I titled your last reading, like, Enough is Enough. And I definitely get that feeling off this Ace of Swords. It's like you're saying, I'm done playing small. And it feels like a very good, confident energy. And it is a card of victory, so that looks good. Next, in your closest relationships, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Yes, I think you need to look at the resources you give to connections. We're not talking about money. We're talking about your time, effort, attention, all that other stuff that you give to people. And I feel like you need to make sure that you're being nurtured. I think you need to make sure that you're getting something from your relationships. And, that's pretty much all I feel on the Queen of Pentacles. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Ten of Wands. It's like you're very close to something here, Pisces. The Ten of Wands can definitely represent feeling burdened. So I would make sure that you're taking a look at your obligations and the things that you're dealing with. And, make sure that you're not, like, giving too much to people, or you're not, make sure you're not like being taken advantage of and things like that. That's really what I would be careful of with the Ten of Wands. You have the Seven of Swords as your outcome. Again, Seven of Swords can represent doing something in a different way. To me, the Seven of Swords is a good card. I would still be careful of any toxic people or any manipulative people or sneaky people. But he's sneaking away from this army with these swords, and he's going to war, but in a different way. He's kind of like found a better way to do things. I do feel that if you have those thoughts, like I could do this business differently, or I could do my job differently, or you know what I mean? It's like I really feel it's a good time for Pisces to think from an innovative perspective, because that's probably where your success is going to come from. And don't be afraid of trying your unique ways of doing things or your unique plans. Pisces, make sure to like and leave a comment. It really helps me out. By the way, with the Two of Swords in the Four of Pentacles, you have the World card. Pretty good. I feel that Pisces definitely has a great opportunity to stand out in the world. Really, I think it's pretty simple for Pisces. I think Pisces needs to take up more space in the world with their ideas, or, they need to put themselves out there more. They need to believe that their ideas are good enough to share. And I would share by doing, by the way. I actually wouldn't tell anyone your ideas. I would just do it. That's how you're going to share it, is whatever your idea is, just create it. Put it out there, and that's, by having it done and showing the world how to do things, that's where the accomplishment will come from. With the Eight of Pentacles, you showing up here, pretty good. Whenever you show up as yourself, puts you in a position of power and strength. This would tell me that your emotions are connected to your finances for sure, which I think is very Piscean. And I would make sure that you are nurturing your emotions, focusing on good emotions, and not worrying too much about what's going on around you. Definitely next year, it's like I feel like next year is pretty good for you for money, really. Pisces, Neptune, and Saturn will have moved back into Aries, and I think this will be a good thing for you. The one thing that I think could drag you down is, again, listening to other people, letting other people tell you that money is scary or money is bad or whatever. So definitely keep an eye on your emotions. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Cups. Yeah, I didn't even notice this. We have the King and Queen of Pentacles here. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be new love coming in for you. It could be any sign. It could be an earth sign. It could be a fixed sign, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, with the World as well, or Capricorn with the World. But, again, could be a love offer. I don't mind the King and Queen of Pentacles. I think they're good divine counterparts. They're just boring. There's no sexiness in the connection. And so we'll have to see what comes up. But, again, this could be maybe you need to make sure that you're getting into something where there is actual desire between the two people. It's of course, you're a Pisces, you probably will desire the person. But it's like, are they expressing the same desire? I don't know why I feel like I need to say this, but, I think you could be pretty popular at the end of the year here. And, you could be getting a lot more attention. It's like some of those people, you might think you're attracted to them because they're ignoring you, Pisces, but that's not attraction, right? And so I think, and there might be another person that is giving you attention. You might be like, this person's giving me attention. What's wrong with them? But, that's your brain tricking you. So, there you go. With the Nine of Wands, told you have the Eight of Pentacles. I think that this is your past position, but it's like you're still doing this. I said that on the Nine of Wands. It's like you need to not give up on an idea. I think you have something in your head that's going round and round and round with that round and round card. And I feel like you get excited and then convince yourself it won't work. Right here. And I think that is like the problem. But at the same time, I do feel that like something could be clicking, like I said at the beginning of the reading, with the leg up card. This card can represent like the help of another person. So it's like maybe you need to find a mentor or, find a person who can help you with your ideas. I think that would be a good idea. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Two of Pentacles, juggling, spinning plates, doing too much. Remember what I said, Eight of Pentacles is doing one thing. So I think that it would be a good month to make sure that you're not spreading yourself too thin. It would be a good month to make sure that you're, doing things for yourself or, kind of like doing enough for yourself, and also, focusing on like one project, making one thing a success. And, that's what I'd say there. The other thing I feel for you, Pisces, is this Ace of Swords, and I have to get this out. So, the Ace of Swords, it's like I just feel like it's like you're looking up at a mountain that is not a mountain. It is kind of how I feel about the first part of this reading to the Ace of Swords. It's like, I think you're wanting to start something in your life and that is like new or different. And you could be saying to yourself, I have to climb this huge ass mountain. But it's like, what I think Pisces needs to realize is you have climbed Mount Everest like 20 times. And it's like, the other problem is, I think you're comparing yourself to people who have never climbed Mount Everest, so it's like, you might want to do something like a project, a business, whatever. And you might be saying like, oh, these people, they got this result, but it took them 10 years. So it's going to take me 10 years. And it's like, you're putting all these like obstacles in front of you is how I see it in my head. And I feel like what you need to realize is like, no, it's like, you have all this gear, all this experience. You have climbed Everest like 20 times. They haven't. So it's like, I'm not saying something is going to be easy, but it's definitely not going to be as hard as you think. With the Ace of Swords, you have the King of Wands. Yes, having the confidence, needing to be bold, assertive, confident, really needing to make things happen. By the way, King of Wands is a visionary. He sees things differently in the world. He has a different perspective on basically everything. He has the gift of foresight. And so I think you need to trust like your vision right now, because you could be building something amazing. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Two of Swords. Fickle, pickle energy is what this is right here. This is like meeting a person who's like, I'm not sure, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I want a commitment and all this other stuff. Your job is to, take that person in your hands, right? And take your foot, boot in the ass, out the door, right? So you're going to punt this person into next year, basically. And you're not going to be like, oh, maybe they like me because they're ignoring me and because they're telling me they're not sure and all this other stuff. No, Pisces, no. Right here. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Seven of Wands. Yeah, Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It says when you know that you can be successful, or when you really believe deep down inside that you can make something happen, then you will make it happen. The Seven of Wands is about those like deep beliefs. And so I think you need to like really believe in yourself more with the Seven of Wands. The other problem with the Seven of Wands is that he has like a shoe and a boot on his foot here. And so the story of the card is that he feels like maybe he's not ready, or he has felt like he isn't ready to do something or to put the work into something that he wants to work on and all that other stuff. But really, he's as ready as he's going to be. There never will be a perfect moment to do anything. And, I feel that. For some other weird reason, Pisces, I have like moving popping into my head with the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is not a moving card, but whatever. Again, some of you could be thinking about moving. You do have the World and the King of Cups. King of Cups is a clue card for me. Sometimes I feel like the King of Cups is the card of the home. And so, some of you could be like planning a move or thinking about moving or traveling here. You might not even know it. Uranus and Gemini all year, right? Uranus will move back into Gemini next year. It's going to retrograde this month into Taurus. It is retrograde, but, in the middle of the month, it moves in. And so, again, once it's in Gemini next year, definitely could be changes. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Two of Cups. Yeah, it's almost like some of you do have a choice between like a past person, a new person, or a person. It might not be a past person, might be a tricky person. So I would be careful of that. Two of Cups is like usually a person who is different than your usual type. And, this has come up for you before. And, these two are very different as well. So, it's like you could be attracting someone who is like different than what you would normally go for and things like that. The Two of Cups is also you and your higher self. And it represents communicating with your higher self. Mercury retrograde this month. It is an amazing month to, make sure that you're really tapping in spiritually. Make sure that you're really listening to your inner voice and, all that other good stuff there, Pisces. So there you go. Let's see. You have this key card. It says successful outcome to your problems. Ace of Swords can be overcoming obstacles, overcoming challenges. So it definitely seems to me like you could be like overcoming some sort of challenge here. You have this May card and this elephant. It says a long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. I think I've said this to you before, that like really it's kind of like after your birthday time next year that things I think will really start moving forward. Although right now, like, things can move forward for you right now. There's, don't wait is what I'm trying to say. But, definitely after March, things should get a little bit more better. And then by May, who knows, maybe things will be even better. You could be working on something between now and May. And, I think that will be good as well. You have this boat. It says money or property through inheritance, winning, or windfall. You have that sudden wealth card that basically says the same thing. So there is definitely an opportunity for you to improve your finances here this month. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it'll be worth it. I think the easiest thing you could do is focus on one thing. You have this wedge. It says someone is trying to come between you and a friend or something you want. Yes. If you are meeting a new person, I would just, based off all this stuff here, you have this love card, this imposter, 7 of swords with the 2 of cups. If you're meeting a new person, you might want to keep that to yourself as well, because who knows? Like maybe, this could be like a past person that's trying to ruin something for you, or, it could even be a friend or someone that's like messing around with the new connection. So this is something to be protected. You have this shark. It says, take care, there will be loss of material wealth. Yeah, money looks really good here, Pisces, but, I think this is a little bit over exaggerated for Pisces, but, Pisces, when they make money, they can definitely spend it. So, obviously, don't spend your money all over the place. But this looks really good, Pisces, actually. I really like this for you. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your month.